The Fair Work Commission has ruled that a sacked Deliveroo driver be reinstated after he was found to be unfairly dismissed for taking significantly longer to complete deliveries. A tribunal determined he was not an independent contractor, but rather an employee of the food delivery company. Joining us live now is Kaine, the National Secretary of the Transport Workers Union. Appreciate your time. Tell us just how significant this decision is. What does it actually mean for delivery riders?
Hi Ash, this is a really significant decision. The eyes of the world are on it, in fact. What it means is that the Fair Work Commission has essentially called time out on exploitation of food delivery riders. We know from our own horrific experience in Australia in just 2 months last year, losing 5 delivery riders, losing their lives on our roads because of the pressure they're under. Pressure because they're misclassified as independent contractors, which means they don't get paid a standing rate. They just get paid for the work that they do, the deliveries that they do, and those rates have been slashed time and again by these companies, and that's a deadly recipe. So the Fair Work Commission yesterday said enough is enough. We need to put in place fairness for these workers. We need to treat these workers like other workers in the Australian economy, provide them with rights, ensure that if they're doing a good job for their company, that they get treated in a just and reasonable way. And it's a highly significant decision, and all companies today, I think, will be having crisis meetings, these gig companies, because they know that this exploitation that they have perpetrated on these workers for so long now has only a short life. It's time for the federal government to step up here and put in place legislation to make sure that these workers are taken care of.
So this decision, you think, will have broader implications in other sectors? Which other sectors really are you talking about there?
Well, first things first, food delivery riders are under the pump. As I said, 5 died last year. This is a sector where these companies have been shifting their business models to push these workers outside of the normal protections that Australian workers enjoy. And yesterday was the second such decision. There was a decision in 2018 against the company Fedora, which found that the workers there were employees. And so what we have now is a pattern in Australia and a pattern, Ash, right around the world, from the UK to Spain and even in the United States, where courts and legislatures are saying that these workers need to be protected. Now, Ash, we know that the Australian community has become accustomed to the convenience of food delivery, particularly through the pandemic, where these brave workers delivered to businesses and homes during lockdown, a brilliant service they performed. But we also know that the time has come for us to make sure that they're fairly treated, and they shouldn't be a second class of worker in Australia like these workers are. So these companies will be considering their futures now, and the federal government has a critical role to play. It is the workplace regulator, the federal government, and it needs to make sure that hopelessly outdated laws are brought up to date so that these workers can be protected and we can have this business model in Australia with appropriate protections.
Have we seen any improvements on that front? I mean, I know that we spoke a few months about this, about more and more delivery drivers dying on the roads. Are we continuing to see further injuries, further people tragically dying? Is anything actually happening? I mean, I know that you've been campaigning on this for some time now.
Yeah, look, it is an ongoing campaign and it is difficult. We've had some glimmers of hope. We had Hungry Panda, who originally treated some riders reprehensibly, reinstate them with compensation, and they're in discussions with the union. And just recently, 4 weeks ago, we had Menulog come out and say that it would sit down with the union and put in place a trial in the Sydney market to directly engage workers on terms and conditions that were equivalent to those of employees. So these are glimmers of hope, there's silver linings, but you can't expect companies to go one out here. They need to be supported by a legislative framework that provides a level playing field for all workers and all companies so that we can enjoy this service and make sure that workers are taken care of. And that job is with the federal government. Now, the federal government, Ash, has been missing in action here. We raised this issue with Christian Porter a number of months ago. We were making some progress. But now with the change of minister, we've written to Michaelia Cash overnight, but we've heard nothing from her about this subject, even though we've had case after case in Australia now and around the world which says to the federal government they've got to bring these hopelessly outdated laws up to date, and we're calling on them to do that today.